Hi, I'm Lucille from Artshed Angel, and this is one of the first of a couple of the videos that I'm going to create about inspiration in art journaling and how to get your, I suppose, mojo when you're doing your art journaling. So it's a concern to me that some people think, oh, I'm not an artist or I can't do it. So I just want to show you some of the ideas and I hope it helps you. So one of the things I first want to show you is this beautiful Delusions journal by Ranger. And I really love these journals. They're robust and you can do all sorts of work in them. However, they're giant white pages, which is something that's really scary to you. So I also want to first say about, I'm going to give you a lot of tips and tricks in the next few videos about what to do about those white pages. But in this particular thing, I just want to say to you, this video, this journal, it's kind of scary, and it's scary to a lot of people because they think that I have to show my artwork to people. I get onto all these sites and people are showing me all this beautiful artwork, and I can assure you that there are pages that I wouldn't show you. So the great part about this is your diary. It's your art journal, so you don't have to show your pages to anyone. And the days that you do lovely pages, by all means, take a photo, share it in your groups, and get your feedback. But it's really yours, so don't feel like you have to show everyone, and don't feel like it's don't let it intimidate you. So that's that one there. I want to show you this is another one of the same kind of journal, but it's a lot larger, as you can see. So when you open the pages of this one, the pages are really huge, and the reason they're so big that sometimes if you just feel like doing something, they're just too big to get started, and you've got to have a lot of ideas to fill that space, and sometimes you really do. So this is the one, the go-to, and I've got a lot of pages here that I've already completed where I really just wanted to do something dramatic and something big. So these are pages that I've done in this one. But I tend to really reflect on the kind of artwork that I'm going to do on this, and sometimes something I've done in a smaller journal I might expand on in this one. So this one here was all about my trip to England to make a sword, which I'll show you sometime soon. And sometimes I do pages that I'm not so happy with. This page here is from a trip to the Wizard of Oz that my daughter bought me tickets last year, and we went and spent a lovely evening seeing the Wizard of Oz. I also use photographs. So this is photographs made on a HP sprocket printer, which is my new favorite toy. You can print straight from your mobile phone or cell phone, so it's really great to use. I also do things like this if I want to do some sketching or practice some sketching. This one will eventually have a background color and all sorts of other things on it, but it's just a basis to start. And this one here is a lot of layers where I kept on being unhappy with what I had and kept on going over on the layers. And just finally here, this was where I was trying to do some masking with watercolor paints with the wrong type of tape, and I'm just going to cover that. So sometimes your pages aren't great, but you're going to work on them later. So when you're using a book this size, make that for the days that you feel really inspired. Sorry. A great one I want to show you is this one here. This is one I can put in my handbag, and I have pages done with this one. They're easy to use, they're small, you can put small ideas down, you can stick things down. So the days that you don't feel so inspired, get out your small journal. Don't try to push it. So if you're looking for inspiration for what to put in your journals, then sometimes asking friends for quotes. So one of the ones that I've done here, which is a journal I made myself with watercolor paper, and I'm going to do a tutorial on that later on in my videos. But this one here, I've asked people, this one actually is about a friend who loves colour, and you can see that properly. And these are quotes that people have given me. So this reminds me of a friend of mine, and this is a quote that she gave me. So I've put the quote and I've coloured the pictures in. Another quote, and this one's very simple. I've used a lot of stamps and things like that on that, rubber stamps. This one here is another quote, and it's tissue paper. So if you do the quote idea, so you don't have any inspiration, but you want to look for something that fuels your mind, maybe start one journal where every time you catch up with girlfriends for a coffee or something, get them to write a quote in your journal. And then when you are feeling like you're not inspired, go to a page and go, what reminds me of that person? What colours? Look through a magazine. You can cut out pictures. Just put down colours and use that quote and the thought of that person as your inspiration for that particular journal page. So inspiration can come from so many different ways. I also love to travel journal, so I have here 2 travel journals that I've created. One was in 2016, sorry, I'm so far back in the past, and one is 2017. And you can see everywhere I went, I did a page. So when I look through this in the future, this one's just a lot of things stuck here. This one was inspired by going and visiting a beautiful art shop in England called Cornelius and Son. And this is the place we stayed. So some of them are rough drawings, some of them I've spent more time doing and colouring, and often I did the drawing during the day while I was at the place, and I did the colouring at night when I was in the hotel room and not really loving TV. This is just a newspaper clipping that I thought looked like a lot of fun. So your travel journal doesn't have to be all pictures. It can be, this is a stamp I've made out of a part of a coffee cup, would you believe? So you can create using photographs, wording, just do whatever you like in your travel journals. And they are really, truly great memory of your trip. This one here is very similar to that one I showed you with the loose books in it. And this is from my last trip with my daughter. Again, this one I've used a lot of photographs and just ideas, photographs, things that I've picked up in coffee shops, because we did a lot of coffee shop journaling, which was a lot of fun. And again, photographs. So if you say that I can't draw, you can put photos in, you can trace things, and you can do all sorts of things like that. You don't need to be able to always draw, and sometimes it's just about collecting brochures and things like that and just painting around them and painting over them that can make a great travel journal. This one here I really love because it really reminds me of my trip. I've got this leather cover that I created, and every time that we went to a different place, and the first thing I would do before I looked in my journal was write down the place that we'd been the day before, or the coffee shop we were at. So it's even got the Elephant House Cafe in where J.K. Rowling wrote her book. So it's really a collection of memories just in the cover of this journal. So, you know, to make your journal more exciting, decorate the cover. So inspiration, how do we get inspiration and where do we get inspiration from? And I said to you about the quotes from your friends. Another way of getting inspiration is just while you're having a cuppa, flick through magazines. You can see I've got lots of loose pages here in this magazine. Things like pages of just words are great to just start a background in your journal, to get rid of that white paper, that frightening white paper. I've even cut out these cows because I live on a farm and I really feel like, oh, I might actually make a journal page about home and the farm. You can start with dresses and things like that. So starting your journal page, I tend to end up covering a lot of those pages up. But it starts me and it gets rid of the white page. So it gives me that inspiration to start. Another go-to for me, because I love cards and oracle cards and things like that, is to use your oracle cards or your positive affirmation cards and pull a card before you start and go, okay, well, I need an idea of what I want to do in my artwork right now. So I might pull a card. I like to look at the pictures. This one's got a beautiful, beautiful hands, and I love hands, and it's got the moon. I'll just show you a bit closer. And it's the Ganges. I forgive and do not fear. I accept where I am at this moment, and thus I can flow and grow from here. So, oh, geez, that can come up with a lot of different ideas, can't it? Growing, you could be doing plants growing. I accept where I am. You know, there's how does that make you feel? And then when I look at the card and I see the card holding where the lady's holding the lily in her hands, or the water lily in her hands, that gives me ideas too. So I might go to a magazine now and go and see if I can find some hands and a flower to put in the hands. So sometimes these sort of cards and inspiration are really inspirational to use. So think about that in your art journaling journey. But basically, don't be afraid to cover that page with paint to start off with. Don't be afraid to cover that page with pictures. This is just the first of one of my videos. This is just about giving you ideas and inspiration and about thinking about what journal you use. I'm also in my next tutorial going to be speaking a little bit about which journal to choose for which kind of medium that you're using. I also use a lot of colouring in books because I think colouring in books or children's storybooks, ones that are a little bit ratty looking, that are being thrown out by people, make really great journals. So I'm going to be going through a lot of those things in my next tutorials. I hope you keep following me. My name's Lucille and I'm Art Shed Angel. Thank you so much for your time.